So in the previous episode, the first of this short White Boys and Black Boys series, we took a look at some of the bad boys. And today, I'd like to look at a few more of these bad boys and expand the premise. And this is just the stuff from this month. We talked about Luigi going to court this month, but this other guy also went to court early this month. Remember him? Bryan Kohberger. Drove all across America from Pennsylvania to Idaho to stalk and stab 4 college students. He was a student himself, if I remember correctly, PhD, criminology maybe. Anyway, it was shocking to a lot of people, but I had grown up with a story like that. Richard Speck did his crime pretty damn close to where I live at this very moment. 8 nurses killed and some other stuff you can probably imagine. I may go more into detail about him later, but he was about the same age as Kohberger. Oh boy. I was trying to finish this video, but it might end up being 2 or 3 videos because my premise covers about 45 years, because that case is from 66. Because before I could even finish, another white boy with a gun just tried to kill people. I think he injured 3 ICE detainees in the process of trying to get the ICE agents. I literally can't get the videos out fast enough to keep up with the white killers. I think I've read his name is Joshua Jahn, 29. Is a little on the older side, but still in the ballpark of Kohberger, who was 30, so he was probably 27 when he did his murders in 2022. And again, I'm only calling them white because of the pattern issue. We're going to talk about the black stuff too, but like I said, this stuff is happening so fast, I have to keep rewriting what I wrote, because what I intended to pull into this conversation was Desmond Holly, a proud, self-proclaimed anti-Semitic neo-Nazi. 16 fucking years old, shot and critically injured 2 students, had been quote unquote radicalized by an extremist network. What they don't want to say is the obvious racism. This is the same day that Charlie Kirk got shot. But he was a big fan of the racist Buffalo, New York killer, Payton Gendron, the 18-year-old who killed 10 black people in Buffalo, New York in 2022. And he also had all kinds of racism written on his guns and his bullets. On top of that, he drove 3.5 hours to kill those black people. He literally couldn't find enough black people in a 3.5 hour radius and still had a hatred of black people that he couldn't even see. It's like saying, I hate the Sahara Desert while living in the swampiest part of Florida. By the way, I ask that you stop by my channel, look at the videos, go to my Buy Me a Coffee link, because that's where PDF transcripts will be eventually. And lastly, to check out the shirts on the website. And another fantastic member of the Online Hate Group Association was the neo-Nazi New Zealand killer. I think he put all his stuff in yet another manifesto. White guys love manifestos. I don't want to go too far into the offshore white boys in this video. I tie all this together in future episodes, but the short version is these guys live in one country online. There are no borders. It's worldwide. It's 24 hours a day, and to them, the threat of non-whites is everywhere. Because there was another white power guy all the way over in Norway. Remember this? During his gun attack, 69 people were killed, 66 wounded on that island. And yes, he traveled to that island. You see a theme here? They kind of all do this traveling thing. And he set off an explosion which killed 8 other people in Oslo. I think 6 people got killed immediately and 2 others died later. Keep in mind, Norway is one of the whitest countries on earth. So he went out of his way to kill other white people for racist beliefs. I know it doesn't make any sense, but it kind of reminds me of Ukraine situation. I know we're all supposed to love Ukrainians now, but before the war, they had a real strong white power movement going. Again, in an all-white country. But, shit. You could say that about Poland today. If you really want to get into it, I mean, I'm in Chicago. At one point, they were saying we had more Polish people here than in Warsaw. That was back in the 80s, so I doubt that number holds. But I have experience with Polish and Ukrainian populations. Decades of them, fresh off the boat. But whatever. I have to go to Poland at some point because, I need to see those camps. Speaking of Chicago, though, most people don't know the original real wild white boy is Ted Kaczenski is from right here in Chicago. Again, my actual house right now is not too far from where the famous Unabomber grew up. These newfangled killers almost always use his manifesto as a reason for what they're doing and why they also need to write a manifesto. But they can't be like him. You know, he went through MK Ultra. That's a whole separate thing. Anyway, I think that New Zealand guy died by suicide. Very much like this ICE shooter this week. And that's also a factor we need to talk about. The incredible, consistent outcome. Either these white boys commit suicide or they are miraculously taken alive. Sweet, sweet taken alive. If only more black boys could get some of that sweet taken alive status. But it's hard to get that when you're black. Even the guy that shot Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson, was captured. No, he wasn't captured. He walked in. They didn't catch him. He turned himself in. Kash Patel was busy in New York enjoying a fine meal. But that's the deal, right? Cops under arrest white people and over arrest black people. That's the deal. But the real deal is sort of a secret. See, so keep this under your hat. It's real easy to get shot by police if you're black and real hard to get shot by police if you're white. It's a miracle, a Christmas miracle. But we all know that. It's the deal. I see footage of white people interacting with police and I'm amazed. Meanwhile, you may notice every second of footage of a black person dealing with the cops has a million "all he had to do was comply" comments. But again, go look at some white footage with cops. You know, first of all, it's harder to find, but it's there if you look. But people don't build entire YouTube channels around it like they do for black people. Look, generally this killer white boy epidemic isn't really an issue for me. They mostly shoot, stab, explode other white people. The guy in Buffalo did go after black people, and we all remember Dylann Roof. We literally use his haircut as shortcut for white boy shooter, bowl cut. He went to a black church, prayed with the people, then killed the people. And yeah, he's alive and well, by the way. But pound for pound, if it's a white killer, it's going to be white victims. I would think that community would want to get a hold of the issue. But hey, they see we should control our people. So I have to put the same question to you. Why can't you control your community? I mean, if it's so easy, but the premise is ridiculous. People can't control a person who's reached the stage of a walking, talking teen, let alone an adult. But it's an easy and racist demand to ask. Control your people. They have the same shade of skin. So yeah, you should be able to control them. You don't know them. You can't watch them 24 hours a day. You can't read their minds. But somehow these random strangers are your responsibility. What if we asked white people to handle their own problem? I mean, seriously, the question has never even come up. Every black crime that happens is the first thing they do is control your people. It has literally never even been put on the table for white crime. There is no Fox News reading white stats. Never happened. There is no black Charlie Kirk going on constant tour saying, "Prove me wrong" for white crime.